What's up, guys? Welcome to Coffee Bar Podcast. Today,
episode 2.
Oh yeah, episode 2. Today, special edition, little Father's Day episode.
Little Father's Day episode.
I know a lot of people are like, "Who you having on? Who you having on?" And drum roll, we have one. Jesse,
Garrett's father,
Charles Hammett.
Charles Hammett.
Hey everybody, how you doing?
Thanks for coming on, Charles.
No problem.
So I think this was already planned. We already knew we were going to start off with a Father's Day episode because we're releasing the podcast right around this time. I guess just tell us a little bit about yourself. I mean, I know a lot, but I'll let it come from you.
A little bit about myself.
Life, career, fun hobbies, interesting facts.
I grew up in Maryland. I've been here my whole life. Really went to Edgewood High School, so I grew up in Harford County. Shout out to the Edgewood Rams.
Hey.
From there, I didn't really do well in college, so I didn't go to college. I ended up going out and starting my career, which at first I was a CNC machinist, which was a lot of fun, which I don't know if you know that or not.
I do. I know you're a machinist. I didn't know
Machining
what CNC
what?
stands for.
I used to program a machine that would cut to a specific design, like housing and casings for the military, because we were really close to APG back then, and they used to make really cool things.
Didn't know that.
It was actually a lot of fun, and I did that for about a year, and then I started working. One day I got a wild hair up my butt and went to an IT company in Hunt Valley. And actually, I will never forget it. I walked in and looked at the owner and asked if they were hiring. And this was, I was probably 20, 22 at the time, 21, 22. And they said they weren't, but if I came back tomorrow and talked to some people, they might give me a chance. So long story short, I went back, and the gentleman that was there did offer me a position, but he gave me a term, which he said, I'll hire you, but you only have 30 days to get an A+, which you went through that.
Yeah.
You know how hard that was.
Struggle.
Yeah. So at the time when I started, I put my 2 weeks notice in at the machine shop, and I spent those 2 weeks because they weren't happy that I was putting my 2 weeks in. They just let me go. Studying, and 2 days before I went to go start there, I went and took the tests and passed them.
Nice.
So I remember walking in and seeing both of them and said, I did that, so what's next? And then I worked there for about 2.5 years. And then during that time, you start to get to know people, and a couple of companies started asking me to help them out, and that's where Sun Air. Mm-hmm. You're very familiar with Sun Air. Yeah. It's been a customer of our companies for, Hammett Tech for almost 15, 16 years now. I started helping them, and that's kind of how Hammett Tech started.
Cool.
So I was working for the government doing data center builds. That's when you were growing up.
Yeah.
And then at the afternoon, you remember I was always upstairs or doing something to continue to teach myself what I had to do to build a company. So
nice. All right. Well, let's kind of shift and go towards fun hobbies and interesting facts, because I do want to touch base a little bit later in this episode, about CEO and starting a company and stuff like that.
First,
let's do some
big gamer.
Yeah, big gamer.
Yeah, huge gamer. I grew up gaming, so I think part of the reason I gamed as a kid is it was an escape from a world that I didn't like.
Yeah. So
I could go up, sit on my computer, and then for hours just be in the computer, and nothing was there to bug or bother me.
Yeah.
So huge gamer. And actually, the funny thing is when we used to hack into things when we were younger, it was a game. We did it as a game. It was to see what we could get into. It wasn't malicious in any way.
Nice.
Other hobbies besides that, I play golf. I don't really play with you anymore.
Yeah. Golfer.
Well, just Garrett was the golfer.
No. Once he started beating me, I stopped going. There's a funny story there, too. So when we first started golfing, it was me and Garrett and his cousin and his uncle, and we would bet whoever would win had to buy a steak lunch.
Damn.
Hold on. Let's talk about the steak lunch.
I know Garrett 4 putts. So that means you have 5 or 6.
So we're talking Johann's down in Essex.
So the best steak on a metal piece of, I mean, it sizzles coming out.
Well,
it's amazing.
It's a $9.95 special during the week.
Like a fajita platter, like that kind of sizzle plate.
Steak and two sides. It's when we're talking about betting, like I'm 14, 15 years old. Like I only had to spend $25 for this lunch. Like it wasn't like an $80 meal.
Still was good.
I mean, that's a lot when you're 14 years old.
It is actually. I didn't feel bad at the time.
It was honestly probably Charles's money I spent.
Yeah, it's just a cycle.
Yeah, it was. I mean, those are good memories. But yeah, once he started winning, I stopped doing that bet quickly. So
yeah. Let's see what else.
It's like when me and my dad used to go golfing. It was he'd be trying to fish his ball out of the lake. I'm like, come on, can we please just play? You have tons of golf balls.
Yeah, it's good. We got to get out sometime soon. So
yeah. Interesting fact. Anything?
Interesting fact.
Anything? Something?
Owner of his own company.
Yeah. CEO. Hammett Technologies.
Successful.
I got a couple really
successful
cool
company.
facts.
Correct.
I ran a gaming community for like 5 years with about 500 adults in it, and it was fun.
It was like a MMO based.
We played a lot of games. It was a weird time. It was before like what you see today with like Twitch and all of that. We were doing that before it was like a thing, and we mainly made videos and all that stuff to teach people how to kill the bosses that we were downing that were challenging at the time. So, but it was a ton of fun, and it gave you an opportunity to get reach around the world and align yourself with people that you won't meet here. So, like I have friends in England and Netherlands still to this day that I talk to. Because we gamed for like 5 years together competitively. So
that's cool.
Other fun facts. I don't know. I mean, there's so much stuff.
Yeah.
I'm an interesting person. So
yeah, I think we're trying to keep it fresh. So like when we bring guests on here, we don't want them to see the questions prior to the show.
I have no idea what they're asking.
Yeah. So these questions, we want it to be raw. We want it to be like, hey, this is what I'm thinking when you ask me this question. I don't want you to think about a well plotted answer and then give me like the grade A thing. Like I just want you to give me what your true emotions on this.
Yeah.
All right, so we're gonna shift a little bit and go into kind of what we wanted to bring up as a Father's Day episode, because we're going to release this sometime around Father's Day. Give a couple shout outs. I have a few friends of mine that have recently become dads within the last year or two.
Because he's old.
Yeah, because I'm old. I asked Jesse, I'm like, hey, Jesse, you got any friends? He's like, nah, man, I don't have any friends that have kids.
I guess first we should tell the story of my dad, Garrett.
True. Oh, Jesus. Hold on. Let me shout. Hold on. So
the people want to hear it.
Yeah, serious note, though.
I don't think Charles has heard this yet.
No, God. I mean, he's not going to be surprised, though, honestly. But no, so my friends Tim, Mike, Luke, and Steve, and then John actually just had a daughter a few days ago. That's his second kid. So just happy Father's Day to you guys.
Father's Day.
God, I feel old.
Yeah. Well, wait for this. So, super excited. Jesse's coming over, recording the first episode of our podcast, putting all our stuff together. We go out to the liquor store, right? It was a week ago.
We're wearing our masks, of course.
Wearing our masks.
Good citizens. This is relevant.
Put the beer up. Lady says, hey, can I see your ID? To Jesse. And I'm like,
just to me.
I'll tell you the prelude to this story after this, but I'm like, okay. Pulls down his mask. He's got his beard. His ID picture is his 16-year-old ID picture. So he's a baby, like baby. And I always laugh when I see it, but I kind of chuckle. And the guy next to the lady that asked for the ID was like, oh, I thought he was your son. I was like, are you kidding me? Like, I got a hat. Like, you can't even see my bald spot. You know what I mean? Like, what do you mean?
Papa G.
But that's the second time in the same day. Because me and Shannon got alcohol that morning. And she got asked for her ID and I didn't. And I'm like, bro.
Some telltale signs.
Yeah. It's a hard life I live.
When you get to like my age, you start thanking them when they ask for it. It makes you feel good.
Well, I'm not even 28 yet.
I know.
So, not ideal. Yeah.
That was a funny story. I just started telling everyone and he just felt embarrassed and
good. Yeah, it's a little hard.
I can relate.
Yeah. Yeah, you can. I'm telling it.
Mm-mm.
Uh-huh.
Mm-mm.
I'll say it. Yeah, just so we also do have my mom and Shannon on the couch in the girls' room.
The girls' room.
You guys can't see them; they're off camera. But Shannon's acting as our fact checker, statement corrector, and making sure me and Jesse stay in line while on the podcast. So for those of you who don't know, Charles is technically, if anybody ever asked, he would be my dad, but he is my stepdad for 17 years. How long have you guys been married? 16?
16 years we've been together.
Charles, don't answer the question, let Mom.
I know that part. I just look, and then she like looks at me and I'm like, yeah, okay, 17.
Like, am I hot? Am I cold?
Close? Am I sleeping on the couch tonight? Let me know what's up.
So that means Charles is older than me, but younger than Mom. And when we would go out when I was younger, like when I was like 13, 14, they would always, the waiter would always come over and say, look at Charles and myself and be like, hey, do you guys know what your mom wants to drink? like we're her kids.
This one time we went to a store and I just shaved off my goatee. I don't remember why. I look super young when I take off all my facial hair. And I take all these clothes up, and I'm setting them on the counter, and Cheryl walks over and pulls out her card and starts paying for them. And the lady's like, "Oh, you're so lucky. Your mom's buying you all these clothes."
Back to school shopping.
And I was like, yeah, that's what that is. So, yeah, it's always been awkward when that happened. It doesn't happen that much anymore.
That's why you think about
it. It doesn't happen that much anymore. But back then, when I shaved, I looked like I was 2. So,
yeah, that's funny. Yeah. All right, so last week I brought the morale down towards the end of the show with some sad and like meaningful thoughts. So I'm gonna hit that in the middle of the show this time. We're gonna ask a few questions about being a dad, right? And then we'll get into a little bit more serious conversation a little bit later. So my first question is, what is the greatest thing about being a dad?
He can't think of one. It doesn't exist.
Hence the reason why these are raw.
There's a
questions.
lot. I mean, there's someone who learns from you. You have an opportunity to mold someone into something. I
feel you also learn from them too, right?
Yeah, you learn a lot from them. A lot. Patience is the biggest thing you have to learn.
But I also have, what is the most challenging part about raising me?
Yeah, so from a standpoint of like the most valuable or like one of the best things is that you have someone to share with.
Yeah,
life's I've always been a loner. I mean, you know that. Like when I'm at places, I just disappear.
Yeah,
I like to do my own thing. So, one of the coolest things about being a dad is you have someone that looks up to you.
Yeah,
and that also on the same time, it's a flip side. So for someone that doesn't have any biological children of their own, I didn't have a responsibility of a child. So when you entered my life, my whole perspective on life changed because I'm a very selfish person and I always was. And that had to change. And I don't, I joke around a lot on the internet and I say hashtag breeder problems to people because I never have any like children of my own. But, I will tell you, there's probably I can't wait till grandkids come.
Shit.
But there is some joy to the younger years that I see that I definitely missed.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't replace it for the world. Yeah. I mean, it's if you look at our lives and where we've turned up, raising you is definitely put me on a different path than where it would have. So.
Gotcha. Nice. Jesse?
Well, it's very interesting that you mentioned the selfish part because, I mean, I'm young and my views could change, but currently that's my biggest fear of like having a child of myself would be, you have to give up a lot.
Yeah, it's a different mindset, and
I've heard some describe it as it almost like flips a switch.
Yeah,
you got to stop thinking about yourself as much. Like I still do. I'm still a very selfish person, but I also make sure I take care of everybody around me the entire time.
You're also a little later in life, and I don't I don't live with you guys anymore, and you guys aren't.
A lot of my friends still have kids around like 12 and 14 and 15. Mm-hmm. My son's has his own house and is doing his own thing. So,
I mean, a lot of people I know or like, because I'm thinking like, oh, when would you be ready to give up your lifestyle to take on I would consider it a new challenge, of parenthood.
Let me give you a different curve. You don't give up your lifestyle. It just changes a little.
Yeah.
You have to become more responsible for somebody else beside yourself. Because if you don't, they'll fall down the steps.
Yeah.
They don't know. You have to get through that process.
Yeah.
And I think you see right now, with you being out. Solid. I'm not opening that.
He talks with his hands.
With you being out of the house,
Don't
me and your
open
mom
that.
have a lot more time.
Yeah.
We're almost like, and I hate to say it, like we're in our 20s again because we don't have to deal with, did he feed himself?
I mean, that's the retirement age. You know what I mean? That's that nice, like, you guys get to enjoy it.
Yeah. And and it's a different scenario. But again, if you look at my group of friends, they're all doing the soccer games, the baseball games. They're killing themselves to keep up with their kids. And
you got out of the way early.
I'm kind of done with it. So, you could say it. I always talk about I cheated. I came in after you finished pooping on yourself. And I got when you started liking girls and video games. Wow. It was a win. So
I wish my parents would hit the retirement phase.
Yeah.
My brother's just becoming college age, and they're reeling us back in real hard.
Yeah.
They won't let us go.
Hey,
you have other brothers and sisters too, right?
Just one.
One younger brother.
Yeah.
One younger brother. Sister Garrett was the only one. It was empty nest syndrome was kind of rough for a couple of years. Yeah. So
it was rough. I remember the last night, because I always talk about this with Shannon. So Shannon went off to college. Shannon moved down to beach. So she didn't always, she wasn't like with her parents after high school, right? But you came back to go to like Anne Arundel and stuff like that. I remember like the last night, I like didn't pack. I procrastinated until we moved out into our apartment. I didn't pack a thing because I just like for some reason it wasn't real until like my alarm went off the next. I was still chilling at home. I was like, but like that next day it hit. I was like, damn, dude, like I'm out, like just like that. Like it's no gradual stage. I mean, I was young. I didn't really know what it was going to feel like, but that emotion was different.
Yeah.
Advice to new dads, but I will say like or stepdads.
The biggest advice I can give to anybody is that the child's going to mimic you.
Yeah.
And I can prove to you just by my life example that it doesn't matter when you start, but if you give them the attention and help them on their journey in life, your child's going to be a product of the effort you put into it.
Yeah.
That's my biggest advice. There's too many people that have kids because they're cool, or they aren't really, they don't want to be parents, and you do that child no justice. So give them the best chance you can at life. That's really my biggest advice, and focus on that, because at the end of the day, you're changing their diaper now. They're gonna change yours later.
Yeah. Paying it forward. Mm-hmm. It's good advice. So this was a collective question. I thought it was a good question. If you could have a drink with someone in history, whether it be somebody you've known or haven't known, dead or alive, who would it be?
My grandma.
Yeah. True. Yeah, that's she's missed. For sure. She can shake her drink and her ice will be all over. I mean, she might not drink with you, honestly, because it might not even be in her cup.
Depends on how many Xanax she took that day. Miss Grandma.
Yeah. All right. I guess let's maybe shift a little bit, get into...
we missed most challenging part of raising Garrett.
Oh, yeah, we did skip. I was going
to
leave that one by the wayside, not say anything out loud.
So you guys don't edit this, right?
Oh, no. Hold on. I didn't give you like the prelude prior to this podcast about not saying anything incriminating. And he didn't sign the waiver. I would say...
The most challenging thing about about Garrett is he's very strong-willed, and he will do what he wants, even if you tell him no.
I'm very stubborn.
And that's not a bad trait at all.
Even if it's a bad thing, I will still do it.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll just leave it at that.
Yeah, I'll leave it there. I'm not going to go... We'll do it. We'll do that story on a different episode.
And he's
that's a hilarious
spontaneous.
one.
Yeah. I like to
this room did not look like what it looks like. It did not look like this a couple hours ago.
No.
This morning.
I sent a picture of Jesse. I'm like, hey, we got any legs for the table? He's like, all right, cool.
What the heck?
It's clean.
Got a new desk.
Yeah.
You're moving up. Episode 2. Wait to episode 8.
Oh, hey, be nice.
Gonna be bonkers. We're gonna be in the mansion.
Yeah, right. Jesse's mansion. All right. So I would say let's shift towards Hammett Tech. And we'll start off with a question I'm sure you've been asked 100 times. How did you start your company? And then did you always want to own your own business?
Let me answer the second one first.
Okay.
So the answer to that is yes. And the reason I say that is if you ask anybody that has known me for a long period of time, even when I was in high school, I always knew I would do this. I just knew it.
Yeah.
I don't know why. I always said I will always own my own company and I will always do something with computers. So
you're always big on entrepreneurship and finding a way to make money. Famous line. I love this line. I've always loved this line. Now Barstool has it on their hoodies, which kind of pisses me off. But Charles was always a guy that it's only money.
yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? You lose my... I'll tell you a good story about me and Charles. I'm kind of going back to the dad thing. Jesse knows... Everybody in this room knows the story, but not a lot of people outside of this room does. Graduated high school. Was going to college. Always wanted a Mini Cooper.
Oh, God.
Always wanted a Mini Cooper. Right? And I had a Volkswagen Golf. Great car. Starter car. Thank you, guys.
This is the part where I told you he doesn't...
That's what I'm saying.
He's
It's a great
strong-willed.
story.
Yeah.
He does what he wants.
So, you know, Craigslist is booming. Find a great deal on a Mini Cooper. Not great deals. $5,200 for a used car. Pictures, phone calls, everything. Get there. This is back before I knew what Woodlawn, like city cross limits, like not really like the county Woodlawn, but like city Woodlawn, how it really was. And we're going to meet some people for a car. And two guys come walking up from around the block, like not even from the house. Like, I mean, looking back when I'm dumb.
Let me give you this whole scenario. It is very dumb. And this just shows you how much he didn't know about the world.
Yeah.
I mean, I grew up around this crap. So it was one of the moments where I was like, oh, crap. So we pull up and we park. And I'm looking around. I'm like, Garrett, I don't see the guys. And they're like, yeah. He's like, oh, he's right there. He's coming up. So Garrett, being so excited about the car, hops right out to go talk to him. And I look over and go, oh, crap. This isn't good. I know what's about to happen. So all I could do is try to figure out what the scenario was going to be. So I'll let you continue to tell that story.
So I hop out of the car. You know, Charles gets out, driver's side. We walk up. We're walking up towards this garage. And I just remember Charles saying, like, hey, just, you know. And I think you said my name. I think you were like Garrett.
Yeah.
I turned around. And like Charles had a gun pointed at him.
I think I confused the guy because he turned, like I get out of the car and I walk to the front.
Charles you were also like 160 pounds. I mean, you were a bigger dude.
I was
then.
massive.
Yeah,
Dude.
yeah.
Like I could toss this kid around.
Like he was like.
So this dude was scared. He was scared of me, not Garrett. Garrett's some little kid up there.
Yeah.
So I get out of the car and I walk over and I see the guy walk up and he's got a gun and he points it at me and I don't think he expected me to look at him and go, dude, you can just put that away. And then he looked at me and goes, huh? And I said, you don't have to pull that out on me. If you really want the money, I'll just give it to you.
Yeah.
I was like, I know what's about to happen. I've been through it before. I grew up around this. Just take it and bounce.
Yeah.
And I told Garrett, I said, just stay there and hang out for a second. They went and grabbed the money and they took off. And Garrett walked over to me and he's like, I can't believe that just happened. I was like, I tried to tell you to stay on my car, but you were so excited like a little rabbit and hopped out. And I was like, well, this is going to go downhill quickly. So,
yeah. So that kind of sucked.
Wow.
yeah.
I was strong-willed and pretty.
And then let me give you the second thing you didn't listen to me about. So we're leaving, and I'm like, hey, let's just get home. He's like, we should probably report this.
We should file a police report.
I was like, for what? I was like, no one ever gets caught when they do this. He's like, we're going to do it. So we spent the rest of the afternoon at the police station.
And nothing came of it.
And nothing came of it.
Nothing came of it. But
we learned a very, very, very important life lesson. One, I got a new car out of the deal.
yeah, you did.
Mm-hmm.
Two, I got a new car out of the deal.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Well, your car that I was never allowed to drive prior to that.
Yeah. Well, you know.
Hey, it's only money.
Yeah. And that was my lie. It's only money.
Did you ever get in that Mini Cooper?
I ended up buying a Mini Cooper.
How long did that
5 years
last?
later, and that again. I remember sitting on the dealership lot, walking away from it because I was like, I'm out. Like I'm not buying it. I didn't want to buy it. we're walking to get in Charles's car, and Charles like, just go buy the damn car. He's like, you're gonna hate yourself for not buying it. So I literally walked back in, signed the paperwork.
And I hate himself after.
I had the car for 2 years, and I loved it. And I ended up blowing the. I didn't blow the motor. I didn't drive it erratically, but it was like something weird with the.
It's a Beamer.
Yeah,
you get like 5 years out of them.
And now I drive a Hyundai, second one, love it, no issues. So,
all right, sorry.
Yeah, no, but
because you're gonna tell stories all the time.
That's it. It's only money. I
like telling stories.
That's my favorite line from you. All right. What's one piece of advice you would give to someone starting their own business? Some advice you wish you knew when you were starting.
You'll never feel like you're ready. Just do it. I spent 10 years of my life working 2 jobs because I was never sure I was ready.
Yeah.
And then when my hand was finally forced, I realized how over ready I was.
Yeah, I mean, you just had to do it. You had to jump in at that point.
Yeah.
I feel you.
That's like, I don't know, it's very interesting. As I've gotten older, I've sort of craved that sort of conquering fears sort of thing. Or sort of kind of going into unknown. It makes life a little more interesting.
One of my biggest flaws is there's not a lot that scares me. I'll walk into pretty much any room, any situation, and have a conversation with anybody.
Yeah.
But I was not always like that.
Yeah.
It took me many years to be able to swallow that feeling and get rid of it. Because even like when you feel emotion when you talk to people, you get goosebumps, you get that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So
we actually had this conversation last week.
Gary to tell you, it doesn't matter where I've gone or who I am. I'll walk up to anybody and talk to them like I've known them forever. And then that alone is probably the biggest thing. Because if you're going to go out and start a business, you have to talk to people and you got to get to know them.
Yeah.
Because you're asking them to trust you and your company to do things for them that they either A, can't do or too busy to do, and they want to make sure they're getting the value. So if you think starting a business means you get to sit at home and just collect the check, it's not. You're constantly running, constantly talking to people.
It's more work than ever.
Yeah. And it's if you like that, it's rewarding. If you don't, you're going to hate it.
Yeah, you can't live that 9-to-5 life. You're always working at.
There's no time frame. You're working all the time.
I'll tell you, and I think Garrett's heard me say this a bunch of times. People always say, oh, well, you got to go to work. And it's not work. It's a lifestyle. Yeah. If you're a gamer, you don't think of gaming as work. It's your lifestyle. Yeah. If you're in the music isn't work. It's a lifestyle. I do computers. I love them. It's just my lifestyle. It enables me to live my life the way I want to. Mm-hmm. I think too many people in this world think of work as work. So you tend to hate things because you label them as work. Mm-hmm. But if you don't think of it like that, it's not work.
Yeah.
You're just having fun. You're doing what you would do every day anyway. So
I feel you.
Yeah, it's like before the show you were talking to me about the different projects you're doing and how if it's not fun, you're not going to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah. If it's not fun, I'm a little different than a lot of people because a lot of people are driven by money and growth. I'm driven by doing fun stuff. And I get paid to do it.
Doing what you enjoy to do.
And I think, like I said, I tell all the guys all the time, we get paid to do fun things.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
If it's fun to you. If it's not, you get paid to do stuff you hate. So, that's probably, it's got to be fun.
Feel you. Let's say I'm listening to Jesse saying he's conquering fears and stuff like that. Me and Jay-Z are complete opposites when it comes to that. Because, you've been around the world. You've traveled a lot.
I've been to probably, I counted the other day, actually, 40-something states. But out of the country, I haven't been to very many countries. I've only been to Thailand.
It's enough for me, dude.
That's about it.
Been to Thailand. Yeah.
I've been to Pennsylvania.
Virginia.
I've never left the U.S. But
I know, it was definitely a fear-conquering story for me. Is how I've never been out of the country, and I had to fly all the way to Thailand by myself because I was meeting my friend who already lived there. So it was very interesting.
First time flying? Was that?
No. So I've flown before.
But it's not that far.
But never alone, and then, have a layover in, Korea. They help people that speak English a lot, and their whole airport's in English.
Most
I'm
of
sure
your anxiety is unknown, which you don't know.
Yeah, exactly.
So if you can get rid of I'm just going to go figure it out mentality, a lot of that anxiety will go away.
Like, honestly, the biggest, sort of all my fear went away when I was on the plane leaving Dulles Airport. It was
nice.
Just getting on the plane was like,
became a reality.
Yeah, I was saying,
it's like I'm just doing this.
You were starting.
Yeah, it was cool. I think it's something like skiing. I really like skiing. That's sort of...
Never skied. Partially because I was like 360 pounds forever, but I want to try it one day. I think it'd be a lot of fun. That and I want to go snowboarding.
Yeah, it is. They're both cool. I definitely recommend everyone tries both. I mean, I'm stuck with skiing. I'm a diehard skier, but...
That's why I always snowboarded, dude.
Yeah, I hang out with... I go around with snowboarders all the time.
Yeah.
I don't even have any really big skiing friends.
I can never get down with skiing, dude, because my legs went 2 different directions. Yeah, like I just like everything going the same direction. I'm good with that.
Yeah.
All right. Let's get back on it. Let's So I know you. I mean, I know you. So like, these questions are a little bit different for me. But if you weren't doing computers, what do you think your current job would be?
I'd rather not say on air.
And there is the sharp glance from the girls' room.
I mean, he didn't sign the waiver, so he can say anything.
It's more incriminating myself than others. Yeah, so I'll leave it alone.
I thought you were going to go with like
leave it to the imagination.
Male stripper.
No. I'm not endowed enough for that.
Oh, jeez.
If they pay by the inch, I'm making like 5 or 6 nickels. That's it.
Oh, God.
I'm getting the monkey face right now.
Yeah, you're getting a look. You're getting a look.
The girls' room.
All right.
That's funny.
So from a business aspect, because I was thinking about this too, because computers, for us, drive all of our lives.
Yeah.
So within your lifetime, what do you think the greatest invention was?
Believe it or not, it's the smartphone.
Yeah.
It's changed our world.
Yeah, I mean, again, it's technology. I mean, but it has to be. I think it's revolutionary.
That's a pretty crazy, and then in that alone, if you can think of the technology of the smartphone and the touchscreen and all that, and how it's now integrated in the cars and appliances, and really all that's built off the same phone technology.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't even think about that, but yeah, the touchscreen that was. I guess the smartphone was the original touchscreen, right?
There was the iPad that came out, which originally was a buttons.
No.
So then it went to a touchscreen iPad.
You had like the styluses, technically, and then the iPhone. Was probably the first one that actually like figured out where your finger was, and because I remember you used to dial them things in. You said like just like a stylus, you have to do it with your finger, so it memorized where it is. Well, now I didn't even think about that.
Which, by the way, thank that guy who advanced that technology. Because if you clicked one of the quarters wrong, everything was messed up the rest of the time.
It was all off.
Yeah, good on him.
Yeah, but I didn't even think
cell
about that.
Cell phone's probably a big one, and then I'll tell you what, the internet has been huge too. Because of the internet and connectivity, we can do so much now that we never ever did. I mean, look at the NFL data they're pulling all the analytics from.
Yeah.
That amount of data to be able to pull it is all because it's on the internet, it's live, it's right there in front of us.
Some nerds. Because like, I enjoy them commercials.
Yeah.
By the NFL, and they're like, like when they bring up the surfaces, and they're just like watching replays, and they're talking about statistics on that. And like, God, like
it's crazy.
I mean,
commercial on a tablet, and that's what I'm enjoying in life.
We're still in the infancy stages. We're not even fully there yet. So
that's insane. That's what I've been on, like a big Elon Musk kick, and like I've been watching like more I guess personal interviews because people are considering him kind of douchey, you know, and I get it, but like I think I look at it more of like misunderstood and kind of weird.
If you look in the technology space as a whole, most of the leaders are a little weird. Yeah,
like they just don't understand. I mean, but the thing is, they're just on 2 different, like, I don't want to say 2 different levels, because it's not just because he's smarter, like, but I just think that his passion for what he wants to do in life is much like, that's like somebody that knows they want to cut hair.
Yeah.
Like, they're going to talk all day about that. Like, this guy talks about rockets because that's what he loves to do.
Right.
And that's why I watched one that was his, like, 3 companies he has, or that's, like, major right now, which is, like, Solar City, SpaceX, and then one was boring. And boring, he said he devotes like 2% of his time to 2%, and it's a tunnel that's going from, I think it's LA to New York, and the tunnel's bored, and it's only bored wide enough so there's like no friction, no heat, so the train can go like extremely fast, like faster than almost as fast as a plane, to go straight underground, and it doesn't cause any like waves or any shock to the like surface level.
Zero friction.
So like up like in your house, you won't know a train's moving 30 feet underneath you that quickly.
Yeah.
And it's like crazy. Is he
leveraging the I haven't looked this up.
I don't know.
Yeah, I got to go.
I don't know.
Because a couple of years ago, they tried to put one of those in Baltimore. It was like a magnet train.
Like Baltimore, New York, wasn't it?
Yeah, and it was going to ride over magnets. So there was zero friction, and it was just, it like hovered. But
but this is below ground. So it's like.
Yeah, same thing though. If they're doing a very small bore, they're probably doing it so the polarity is how you move you just reverse
it's probably
polarity.
Something like I don't know. It's just, it kind of, he like talked about it for like 15 minutes. It was very intriguing, but it almost seemed like he didn't care. Like he's creating something that could change the world, and he doesn't care. He's more concerned about something else.
Yeah,
like he's just like, I'm spending some time with that.
Well,
sure.
I've always heard his end goal is to get people to Mars. So
for sure.
All this solar stuff, all this, what do you call it, the internet satellites?
Oh, I think that's through SpaceX. I think that he's doing.
There's some name for it.
Is it? But he's trying to get Wi-Fi out to the solar system.
Yeah, so when his homies are going to Mars, they can.
And he's talking about like 10,000 gigs a second throughout the solar system. I mean, he's talking.
I wouldn't say that's impossible. I mean, we're doing 5 gig to a desktop now as a basic.
Yeah, I mean, it will one day. It won't be right. And look how far you've come from 2010 to now. Like, I mean, if it keeps growing at that rate, I wouldn't. Even in my lifetime, I could probably see something like that.
Right.
But no, I mean, dude. His idea of going to Mars and putting people on the moon, like, not to inhabit it, but to like just be able to go there for like a trip.
Yeah,
like, it's insane.
Yeah. Most of the cool things you find that were invented were not invented, other than they wanted to try it.
Yeah,
and that's like the coolest part about it.
And that's like the guy was asking him a question. It's like, how do you like think? How's your business model for when you know that you're developing a rocket that 3 out of 4 times is going to explode? And he's like, well, I don't really have a business model. And the guy's like, all right then. And he's like,
throwing darts at a wall.
And he's he's trying to explain. He's like, yeah, I mean, look at it this way: a rocket's $30 million, right? And right now, NASA is allowing that to go up to space one time, fall to the earth burning. When I talk to my employees about why this rocket needs to come back down and home itself, I'm like, imagine a pallet of $30 million. You're sending it up in the air. Like, wouldn't you want that $30 million to come back down to the ground and be fine? You can spend it or reuse it. You know, he's like, or do you want it to come down to the ground burning and then you can never touch it again? He's like, it just makes sense to have that reusable, because if not, you're wasting money.
Right. And there will be a limit to resources at some point.
Exactly.
You don't have an unlimited amount of metal, and you don't have an unlimited amount of time to build them.
No, exactly. And you're eventually going to have to either figure out something else or go to different planets to do that.
Think of like this: what if the plane could only be used once every time?
Yeah, and that's
same scenario.
Yeah, and it's cool because his solar city idea is very similar to the internet, right? So his solar city idea is, hey, we'll give you the solar panels to put them on your roof, no charge, right? So you'll benefit by getting free electric. But what happens is the excess electric will then go to them, and they'll build a network of solar panels that will be like a grid.
Right.
And it will be like a renewable source at no cost to the user. And it will be at no cost to the business, because eventually that energy that they're getting that's more than what the people are using is paying off the equipment.
Right.
So it's like it will eventually be like huge solar panel like organizations that are just like, I don't know, the United States. And
yes and no. When solar technology comes down in price enough where you can just buy them, then that return on investment comes right into your pocket.
Yeah.
So like if it only cost you $10,000 to cover your entire roof with solar panels, then, and you're not consuming, the math equals out, so you're putting kilowatts back in, they'll cut you a check. So your solar panels can potentially pay themselves off. But right now, solar technology is so expensive.
Yeah.
That's why they're
nobody
getting
has that up front.
Right.
Cash.
So you're going to be playing this game where Solar City is going to try to push hard to get it out there before that
happens.
Right.
Makes sense.
I heard there's even scenarios where your meter will go positive, like you're adding energy to the grid and they'll actually pay you.
That's what's happening. Yeah, so like if you own it, they're yours, then that's how that'll come back to you as a check. But if it's Solar Cities, it goes to them. But you didn't buy them, so you didn't have any upfront cost. So you're pretty much getting your electric for free. But it's you're not paying anything, but it's going money back into their pockets to then buy or pay for the hardware that they put on your roof.
Yeah. So like when we did the Sparrows Point house and I priced it, it was like almost $30,000.
Yeah.
But the cost to get your money back would be about 7 years back then based on the kilowatt hour. So when the gas and electric prices go up and the solar panels go down is when you'll see that shift in the way we do things. You're seeing it with electric cars right now.
Yeah. Shout out Tesla. Shan's got to get a new car first.
She's getting a Tesla.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Guess so. Shan likes her Mazda. So I might have to wait to get a new car until she's ready to get one. just got a new car last year. Oh God, I got that habit from you. Yeah, you.
That's why you lease them.
Girlfriend, you want to chime in over there? I see you giving the stare.
Me?
Yeah, you. I got that.
After this many years of marriage,
it's just a moot point at that.
It's not even worth talking about
He
anymore.
drives his car, he drives my car.
That's what Shan's got. Shan just got to keep an SUV. I told her she wants to get rid of the SUV. We just haul too much crap. We're always carrying stuff around. It's insane. All right. So we kind of already hit it, but what is it like? What was it like growing up parallel to like the advancement of technology? I mean, my lifetime was cell phone, but you got like the computer. I mean, you got like major things.
It's interesting because like when I was in school, no one knew that you did computer stuff because you were the nerd, so you didn't really talk about it. So like I was a closet nerd for a very long time, and it was interesting to see like when you were growing up is when like the AOL thing started coming in, and then like it started becoming more consumer.
Buying hours of internet.
Yeah. So it's like. It's hard to really explain. I mean, it is everything to our lives, and it will continue to be. So, I couldn't imagine my life without it.
Yeah,
it's entertained me for so long. It would be. I don't know what I would do without it. Honestly, right now, technology is a big part of me. So, it's kind of hard to say what would it be like. I don't know. It's always been around me. So, I guess it'd be like it was in the 50s.
Yeah. So, a lot of talk show radio.
Yeah, it's interesting to think how the growth of technology is exponential, right? If 20 years in Charles' life, the technology advancements, if 20 years from now will be the same sort of impact.
Yeah, like it keeps going at that rate. Yeah,
it'd be greater.
Well, I think more people are focusing on it. Like you said, 20 years ago, people weren't focusing on it because they were nerds. So now you have more people focusing on it at a higher rate, at a faster rate. I mean, it's got to come faster.
When technology became cool and mainstream is when it started to really take off. And now that like you have everybody with everything, and now you have kids that are dedicating their lives from the start of life to learning it.
Yeah,
it's going to be a completely different world. Because I mean, keep in mind when I started, I was only like 16 or 17, and even when I was around it, there wasn't many people that touched a computer. So today, you go into any home, they have multiple. So it's going to be interesting to see how much faster it progresses by the time I'm off this earth. So
yeah, it'll be exciting for sure. So we actually did a quick questionnaire last week between me and Jesse, of asking questions back and forth and both answering it. One of the questions was, if you're being the CEO of a company, what are the first 3 things that you do in the morning? It was kind of, was that the question? That was the question last week, right?
Yeah. So when we
what was the first
about it,
3 things you check in the morning?
Make sure your company's not burning down.
Yeah.
To be honest with you, I don't look at any of that first thing in the morning.
Yeah.
I mean, most of the time I wake up on my own, so I don't really even wake up to an alarm clock anymore. And it's not because I'm an owner of a company and can sleep till 10. I just literally have so much stuff going through my head. I wake up at 6. Just what happens. Normally I go downstairs and I log into a video game and complete my dailies real quick.
My dailies. Selling turnips, buying turnips.
I gotta do my dailies in one of the games I'm playing right now, and it depends on what game I'm playing. So right now I'm playing a very specific game. And then normally after that, it's kind of like my time in the morning. It's how I wake up and kind of get myself. Because I found that when I woke up and would look at email, it would start my brain real fast because I felt like I had to get everything done. So I stopped doing that. So like 4 or 5 years ago, I started getting up and just doing what I wanted to do.
Like right into business mode.
And then what it does then is it lets me wake up slowly and then prepare myself for whatever's going to be in my email box, which luckily, there's not a lot that happens in there anymore that's bad. But I think if you wake up in the morning and kind of go right at it, it kind of sets the pace for the whole day. And then, I mean, you've seen the days where I've woken up and gone right at it. I don't stop that the whole day. So I think that helps me set my pace.
Yeah.
But other than that, I mean, the 3 things, I use the bathroom every morning when I get up. I do my dailies.
Normal person things.
I drink a cup of milk. I'm one of them weird milk drinkers.
Milk guy.
I know, I'm a weird milk drinker. And I'm a very particular milk drinker. I need certain kinds.
Yeah, you are. Whole milk. Thicker the better.
God. I don't know why I like milk so much.
Like white motor oil.
He'll drink half and half for creamer.
I drink half and half.
Like he'll drink it.
I like half and half. People will talk crap about it. It tastes like ice cream. I know it sounds weird.
Oh, God.
You do the little cups like shots?
No.
I'll drink a whole cup.
He'll drink like if you get a carton, just pour it in a cup. He'll drink it. Like when you get coffee at the diner, you can just pour it.
He doesn't even order the coffee. He just goes to their half and half bar.
Yeah, like when we were talking about how we first started
joking,
drinking
but
coffee.
he doesn't know how realistic that is.
Like when I used to grab us coffees, I would be like, hey, do you want coffee? Be like, yeah. 10 cream, 10 sugar at Dunkin' Donuts. In a medium coffee. That's like almost
not
a
as
cup.
bad as I still do the 10 cream though.
Almost a cup.
I don't like the way dirt water tastes.
That's me.
So,
dirt water and nut milk.
but I need the caffeine, and that's pretty much my routine though. I'm a milk drinker. There you go. I'm gonna be one of them weird old milk drinkers when I get older.
Yeah.
You'll have strong bones.
He ain't breaking this bone.
And you do that like midday too.
Milk.
That's like Luke.
I drink milk all the time.
When we had our apartment, he would buy like a gallon of whole milk. We'd be like sitting down for dinner and he would drink a glass of milk and be like, dude, it's 7 o'clock at night. What are you drinking milk for?
Milk doesn't have a time of day.
Yeah, but like milk's a breakfast thing. Does he? Yeah. Ugh.
I drink it all the time.
No.
Before bed, I'll drink a glass of milk.
How? Ugh. I feel like, first of all, like I don't think I've drank above 2%. Probably since I've like lived at home. Maybe even before that. Like, but I transitioned to like skim milk, almond milk when I lived at home, right? Because I used to buy my own.
I mean, you're missing out on life.
Ugh, I just can't do it. It's too. It's like, ugh. God, I can't do it.
Now I want a glass of milk.
I did offer you coffee, and you'd shut me down because I didn't have any half and half.
Well, you know our rules.
Oh my gosh, it's like that sometimes. It is like that. Okay. Yeah. So I mean, that's all. Honestly, that's all the questions I have. I thought it occupied more of a time.
Let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
Go for it.
So you guys like doing this?
Yeah.
Yeah, episode 2. It's pretty fun.
Yeah, I mean, I think.
I mean, we're still feeling the waters.
We're figuring it out. I'm not a big audio guy, right? Like I'm just like plug and play. So
Me neither. I'm watching YouTube videos and
so we're just kind of learning the process,
learning HTML so we can get a website.
Yeah,
because I'm too stubborn.
Our
to go to WordPress
under construction.
You know, Josh can throw that up in like a couple minutes for you.
Yeah, well, I think Jesse wants to learn it.
You want to learn it?
Yeah,
he's learning.
Call Josh. Josh will help you learn it.
Yeah,
Josh learned it over the course of a summer while working at it. While he was going to school, he worked for us, and
he's going to do the whole thing in code. He wasn't going to use like WordPress or anything.
Don't do that. That's a terrible idea. Why would you do that?
He wants to learn.
Let's go back to 92. Right? We have all these advancements in technology with content that's dynamic and databases, but no, let me code everything line by line.
Well, because a site on AWS, which is a bare site, is 50 cents a month. But WordPress, that's $4 a month.
You do know I have like a hosting server.
Oh. We're doing every
company.
We're doing everything our own.
No, can you do better than 50 cents a month?
Like literally, we were doing like everything. Can you do better than 50 cents a month? Just trying to bargain right now.
You could just put it on the dev server. It won't cost you anything. And that way, he doesn't have to try to figure out HTML. Which, by the way, anybody watching, nobody does that anymore. I don't know why he wants
It's about to be Jesse.
Yeah.
He's
I'm
gonna
that closet nerd.
he's gonna put it on.
I just
on
won't
his
talk
resume.
about it anymore.
Like Jesse's like, I can walk from here to there, but I'm not going to. I'm going to go there, then over there, then over there, and then go back there. And then when I come back to here, I'll realize I should have just walked right
It's
there.
about the steps in life.
Is that what that is?
The journey.
Another lesson I'll teach you is listen to the older people because they've been there already.
You mean you were there in '92 doing it?
Mm-mm. I always listen to my elders.
I wasn't.
I know. I was fresh out the womb. '92.
92.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Is it the rat year or the monkey year?
I think it's the monkey.
I think it's the monkey.
Yeah, man. 96 is a rat.
I don't even know what I am.
Favorite number's 19. Is my favorite year is 1996.
Oh yeah,
It's from The Simpsons.
From The
today.
Simpsons. He's like, I always use 19 in the lottery because my favorite number is 19. From 1996 was the best year. Like, well, there was 100 years in 1900s. So,
Some
Stupid
classics,
jokes
man.
that get me.
dude, Simpsons, man, it's classic. Yeah, but no, I think we like it, and we didn't start this thing to like make a ton of money or like get
I don't care
famous.
if we
or
get
anything
0
like that.
listeners.
Yeah,
I'm going to
for real.
make a podcast. I'm going to listen to
like,
myself.
We're gonna disregard that. We would love everybody to listen. If you're still hanging on, thank you for listening. No, but it's just for us, just to kind of have something different to do besides sitting behind that desk. We get to sit behind this desk.
I mean, logically speaking, most of the stuff that I've gotten to or done, I've done this way.
Yeah.
I wanted to try something. I set it all up,
It's just fun.
and I did it.
Yeah.
And then if it didn't work, we moved on to the next thing.
Yeah, you
and that's
tried
just
it.
kind of kept going. So
Yeah, I mean, it stemmed from a phone call, and we talked about it for a week. We said, like, what do we feel like's like a good price point to where we would split and feel like comfortable if we just fizzle it out over like a month or two. We got it. We got some like pretty good gear, and we're excited about it.
over time, it builds. You
Yeah.
slowly buy pieces.
Yeah, just going for stuff is really undervalued. I feel like people get stuck in routines.
Yeah. And I think like having two like having a co-host, it's like
Yeah, it kind of keeps you accountable.
exactly. And I'm about to say because like
Kind of like the gym.
yeah.
Yeah.
Because like I mean like so Jesse's been editing the videos, and he's like some days I'm just like, ugh. But then I'm like talking to him about like, all right, what do you want to do next episode? And he's like, it kind of gets him in the groove again and start doing it. Because if he said if he was doing it by himself, he probably would have stopped already.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, I feel you. That's why I never started one, because I knew that was going to happen. Because that's the kind of guy I am. Like,
Yeah.
If- unless
Someone
I'm,
else
like, on board.
is counting on you.
yeah. No, but it's fun. Plus,
It's good.
coffee, alcohol, talking. It's like top 3.
Oh, yeah, I guess
top
we didn't
5.
go over what we're drinking today.
True.
Got a little rum and coke.
Yeah, little rum and
The
coke.
usual.
Oh, Goose Island IPA. Charles went with the Perrier.
Lime.
Fancy.
They have flavors now.
That was one of his.
They probably always had flavors, but I never
Oh, they
did that.
did for sure.
And just for future guests, their green room is terrible.
Oh my gosh. Hey, we got everything you guys want. Plus, I had 2 pots of coffee a day, so I couldn't drink any more coffee. Actually, I'm drinking coffee right now. It's just over there. I got a little pecan pie, I think.
He's
Shannon got
wired.
me. Yeah, I was jumping earlier. So,
But anyways, great.
Yeah.
We just killed 55 minutes.
yeah, sick.
Coffee Bar Podcast.
That's it, yeah. Wrap it up.
We
Shout
did
out
it.
to all the dads. Hope you guys have a good Father's Day. Hopefully all the cookouts go off without a hitch with the virus going around.
Yeah. Appreciate your fathers.
Yeah,
Unless
appreciate
he's
him.
the worst.
This is the
I
worst.
won't hold it against you.
Still appreciate him because you're alive, right?
I mean, I think there's some people that have tickets to not appreciate their fathers, but we're not. We're not this.
We're not those people. Shout out to Papa Zito.
Yeah.
Little
I
love.
stay away from him.
Yeah.
He works in a hospital, so
Yeah, we don't want to get sick. Unfortunately, he'd be on the episode.
Yeah.
But it's all right.
Yeah,
Any
that's
questions
it.
from the girls' rooms? Yeah.
shaking their heads.
No fact checks.
They're like,
today.
"Oh my gosh, get it over with."
Oh god.
Lost her,
Got
Elon
bored.
Musk.
Got bored. Got nerdy.
Got nerdy.
Yeah.
Also
Fine.
on the nerdy. I'm
That
sorry.
might be the clip of this. That's the description. It got nerdy.
If Charles taught me anything, it's don't tell people about
What's
your
up?
nerdiness.